I was gonna go on a blunt ride, but this I don't know. I watched the first 2 minutes of this. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm just gonna just do recapping. Dude, this kind of pissed me off. Why do socialists hate charity? I'm gonna tell you right now, because look, they don't like churches. They don't like. They don't like when private citizens. The whole idea is one hive mind. But private citizens do what they want with their own bidding of their own money. That's why they control most of the charities. That's why most charities are socialist owned. Look, it's Marxists and Marxists are socialists, and it's a shit tree of all shit. This is why I don't like socialists, because socialists don't like the church. Mega churches are not on the table when I say that, but like if you give a church your fucking like $1.50, dollar, dude, just give what you can. Some people throw fives in there. You're a piece of shit if you take from it. I've seen niggas take from it. That's evil. That's not right. You're going to hell. But like, you've been a sin in a church, bro. You're definitely going to hell. But like, this is fucked up, bro. I can tell you right now, just hearing this line, when I started this, I know I'm right. They don't let the church. If you don't like the church, like I agree with separation of church and state all day, but like they want separation and then burning of the fucking cremation of the church. And they all hail the state. Like, nah, dude. no, dude. You don't worship false idolatries. God came with rules. He gave us 10.
Why is it that socialists seem to hate charity? That's the topic of the video
10
today.
rules to follow, 7
Here's
sins
one
to fucking avoid.
Sounds paradoxical in faith.
Jesus died on the cross for a reason. Oh, man. That's why they don't like it. Because of morals. You have to be amoral to fucking be a socialist. Socialist is only a jumbled up fucking... What do they call those when you... all the words are meshed up. It's like Satan... It's like Satan calls. Look at it. You can spell... They won't spell Satan. It would be Satan, like almost like Saturn. Mad Gabs, they like those.
Face of it. Why would the people who claim to advocate for the poor and the downtrodden working class be against the idea of giving charity to that very same working class who need it? Doesn't their desire to help stem from harm reduction principles and caring for the vulnerable? Why would they be against charity?
Misnomering. Socialism, communism, and most of those, just those two. Just those two. And fascism. They're all, well, fascism at least, like, this is why, I don't like fascism, but like, it's blunt. It's in your face. At least you know what you're getting when you get fascism. But like, those two, dude, like, it can go, it's the shitty thing. It's sold to you such a good way, and you could make it good if the people are all in on it and actually control it. Like I said, if it's decentralized enough where the people control it, socialism's great. But once you put heads of states and stuff in the power and stuff, you can't do it. Because you can't give one man all that power. Power corrupts. That's why we have everything. We need to figure out a new system where, like, something below a mayor, where, like, just because the district, everybody's getting too big. The country's getting too big. The country's getting too big. Can't have socialism here. It won't work. Come on, man. Like, look how, like, healthcare works. You can't have socialism. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Just like communism. It doesn't work. Oh, but we haven't implemented it right. We haven't done it this way. Blah 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 blah. You could sell. It's like green energy, bro. The market. That's why capitalism is perfect. Like, don't get me wrong. It has its flaws. Like, we need me, who's all about decentralizing things. Or like some things need to be regulated. We need to learn. We need to figure out a way. There's no reason Amazon should be its own entity the way it's big, or Microsoft when it comes to big tech and stuff like that. Like, we need to figure out a way to break those companies down. I personally don't have a big enough brain to think of that, but like, there's got to be a way. Look, like, we can't keep it up like this. We can't have like 6 companies running everything. Like, fuck Viacom and all them.
As usual, this exchange
and
on Twitter got me
Microsoft.
interested in the topic. Chris Freeman is poking a
Lockheed
bit fun at
Martin.
Karl Marx by comparing the Marxist position of reject the bourgeois ethic of individual giving with Marx's own tendency.
Hate the ones above you, but tell the ones below you you're better than them. It'll never work. It never lasts. You can't do that. It's not right. Classism is fucked. We are God's apes. We are made equally. We're all equal. That's why when you start talking to people like on my level or anyone else below me, I don't really like to say people below me, but like I really don't like. It hurts me when I see people are dumb. It just means like all it means. You were just taught wrong. I'm not saying I was taught perfect. I had to fuck up a lot to get to where I'm at. I just don't want to see anyone have to fuck up. We didn't have to. We used to raise people right.
Salud. To beg for money from Frederick Engels. If you watch my channel regularly, this should sound pretty.
Anything based on Engels' thought is
video,
that's
where I dug down into the idea that socialists are mad against God for the crime of being. A quote of George Pearson. We discovered that what motivates socialists isn't actually a love of the poor. At the end of the video, I read to you letter.
It's honestly, if you step back and you really think about it, it's nationalism on a grand scheme. That's why I love when these people project. Like like, no matter what you're saying, you're silencing your dissidents. You're doing all this stuff, and if it's not, like I said, if it's for the proletariat, you would. The people would know. Like I said, the markets will tell you. That's why I love capitalism. Like the markets will show. That's why it's easy. But like, the people know what they want. The people in the bourgeoisie, they don't know where they're at. Their heads up their ass. They're it's so far up their ass. It's like, bro, they probably don't even smell shit anymore. They just smell fucking iron because it's like processed. Like
Heinrich Marx, who chastised him repeatedly.
He's quoting from like, dude. He's talking about right now. Marx's book, fucking poverty of the poverty of prophecy. It's placation on the poor. Like, that's why they play on the skin tones, the religions, and all that stuff. They just find what separates people in the masses. And all you need is to know what 10% of people piss off, and then you use that 10% in the media to fucking control them. It's common fucking thought. Just read a book.
For ignoring his family.
I forgot who said it. It's like, you change 10%, the dumbasses will fucking teach themselves to dumbass themselves more. This is why, during the Cold War, like, they didn't care if they lost then. They think long term, these people. Like, come on, dude. You got homeboy who runs the KGB. Well, who ran the KGB, and now he's the president of the country and stuff. Oh, no, man. Russia's a different place there. At least they're people. Yo, man, follow communism again. Even though they're under a dictatorship. But they even know, like, the lesser evil. Like, we're under. Like, this is the part that kills me about America. Like, we're living. I never even grew up in a free America, and I got like a taste of freedom, and it wasn't even like the kind of freedom we get. There's nothing now. You used to be able to go drink out in the woods and shit. Like, and the cops would just tell you to go home. Would you drive home? Oh, dude, I miss life. Or you get pulled over. Like, when we were illegal, dude, biggest blood rush, step out your joint, cool cop, shitty cop, bring you in there. I don't believe in drug laws. Those were implicated because a failing regime fucking got caught up for Watergate, and he's like, oh, I have to put something out before I fucking get out. Fuck you, bro. Comply. Remember this. Control the supply and demand. Keep the flux. Dude, this is how they said in Ali and the fucking Contra and all that bullshit with the fucking gun trade and with Pablo. Drug smuggling, bro. Drug smuggling.
Unless he needed money from them. Many Marxists follow in his footsteps, from his lifelong depression to his tendency to manipulate others to his constant mooching off of everybody around him. Where it was once his dad, it later became Engels, which is what Freeman is poking fun at. But check out this reply. What you read is solidarity, not charity. This is stressed by many leftists, but you weren't paying attention. You'll find that slogan, solidarity, not charity, all over socialist spaces.
This is a Marxist. Yeah, well, it's saying right there, Marxist. This is them wanting you to suffer. The more you suffer, you get revolutionary. They want a revolutionary. The more you sit there and suffer, or because it feels good to help. We all need our vices, and giving is the best. Even if there's someone taking the money, they have to give something to someone. or it's not a charity. Don't get me started on the Red Cross not donating their money. I have to pay, but donate. Just give money to your church. Honestly, at least you know the church is going to put it towards the heating, and they help house and feed the homeless. I don't know, man. I don't know a church that doesn't help people. We don't got mega churches around here. But, nah, dude, I don't get. Like, dude, I get the priest did some fucked up shit back in the 90s, but it wasn't even the priest. It was between the fucking cardinals and shit. And, like, goes back to the Pope and why I don't trust the Pope. But let's not get into that.
It comes to talking about health.
What did I get for a photo?
London's young.
That's not what I meant.
Food bank. Members of the public donated a huge amount of food again, and a great amount of support for us was shown. Solidarity, not charity. The Christian Socialists. At some point, churches are going to have to unlearn how they practice charity.
What's up,
so they can learn how to practice solidarity.
Okay, hold on. This is off topic. So I typed in Black Pope. And I wanted Black Pope, like Black Pope, as in like Black Pope. Like that one's connected to the Surgeon General and shit like that. So I was hoping like to get a cool photo. Like I was hoping to get like something like amalgamation of all these. But I got Black Jesus. What is with his eyes? Why does it like Sid the Sloth drink? Oh man, there's so much wrong with that. Why does he look like that? Oh man, I said Black Pope and it gave me that. Okay, back on topic.
Community Food Centers Canada. A single meal or 100 meals will not solve the hunger crisis. What we need is...
No, you fix the homeless? You teach a man to fish. I don't mean that literally. You could, and it probably would help. But like... What's up, kitty? Like, you give him a job. Give him a job and figure out like a housing complex. And if you get these people on their feet and you show them, give them like the chance they need or they want, you could really do it. But they need to want it. And like I understand putting a drug thing in front of them, but like you also need to be open minded with these people because they're dealing with drug addiction and like it's not their fault that the Chinese is flooding the market with fentanyl. Like these people are just. I have no care for a dope head, but at the same time, I understand that I deal with my own problems. It's hard to like. Can't deny someone help until like I don't know, man. Like some people keep like I didn't even when I was sober for the last like 2 years. I never. What kept me going was the idea. I don't know. I only keep the weekends now. Or when I hang out with girls. Which is mostly on weekends. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, that moderation. That's another thing, like religion teaches you. I don't like saying, like, I honestly probably did follow the 13 steps without realizing it. The more I think about it. Because I was thinking about my Serenity book and like, I used to reject it. I probably did do that because I've been trying to always reconnect and say sorry to people I fucking wronged. I don't know. Charity over solidarity. That's how you make madness. Bottle it up, guys. Just keep all your emotions inside your head.
It's not charity.
That's what it sounds like.
So let's ask the question: what is the difference between charity and solidarity? Let's start with two simple definitions and then work our way down. The practice of charity is the voluntary giving of help to those in need. As a human.
And like I said, giving, it just does something to your brain when you give off. It lets off, not even like, it's a different time. Like, dopamine is dopamine, yes. But there's proteins that make dopamine, or the reactions that go off in your head that cause the certain types of dopamine to go in. Because, with oxytocin and stuff, like, it's a great combination. Like, I don't know, have you ever gave someone ever given a gift that you made and then the person really likes it? Shit like that, I don't know. Honestly, that's why I like making gifts and giving people shit. Like I really think about cooking food. Like I'd rather cook food than buy them a gift or something like that because like they'll appreciate it more. And then solidarity is just a disgusting trait.
Humanitarian act. Meanwhile, solidarity is an awareness of shared interests, objectives, standards, and sympathies. Creating.
Like I said, closed-minded thoughts. That's all Marxists want. They want you in a pod. It's not cool. It's closed-minded thinking. Surface level thought.
a psychological sense of unity of groups or classes. It is based on class collaboration. It refers to the ties in a society that bind people together as one. This all ties back to, for the 50th time, Marx's essay on the Jewish question, where he critiques the liberal idea that individuals have...
He hated this dude, Arthur Switzerland? I don't know. I'm reading his book right now. Honestly, I love anything that, like, these guys cast it away and call it dirty Jew thoughts. That's exactly what they call them. Actually, he used a really bad slur, but, like, he said dirty Jew speak. And I was like, gotta read it. And it's called Dream Story from him. You should totally read it. It's what Eyes Wide Shut's based on.
The right to be separate from others and live in their own private affairs. As he believed, we were all connected by virtue of economic transactions. Therefore, any exchange of goods or money meant that the other party now had a stake in your behavior. Therefore, other people had a right to have their nose in your business. We've gone over that essay and this idea so many times in this channel, you've got to know it by now. Maybe at some point I should devote a video to discussing only this idea and how influential it is over all of socialism, because it's one of those great linchpins that nobody knows about. Upon it rests not only charity, not solidarity, but also Gramsci's idea that all cultural products must be subverted to a socialist goal, or the justification of theft and collective ownership, or the idea that compromise with the capitalist system will end with the absorption of the compromiser into capitalism, or really, the rejection of all things liberalistic and individualistic. In the context of our topic today, this tweet is the best one I've found that describes the difference between the two, in a casual sense. I like the idea of moving from charity and into solidarity with each other. If my people are suffering and vice versa, we are in direct relationship with each other. We are each other's business. On the surface, this sounds caring, like we're all looking out for each other. But that phrase, we are each other's business, suddenly takes on a very menacing tone the minute you think of it in the context of privacy. This idea that we're all connected, and therefore the collective of humanity has a stake in the individual's business, is the philosophical basis for both classical fascism and the modern surveillance state. Charity is an individualistic act. It's when a person voluntarily chooses to give up something of their own to help the less fortunate, out of the goodness of their heart.
None of that I would disagree with. Like, I went over to the church, though. Like, he just said, like... Their separation of church and state is different from capitalism. Like, it's like... They're a leech. Socialism is just a leech, and that's how you get taxation. Because no matter what, with capitalist society, it's a combination of all democracy. I hate using democracy. It's diplomacy or whatever you want to call it. I hate how, like... Our forefathers told us this is all going to happen. That's what they set this up for us, to be able to fucking... The only time... What was it? Fucking... Franklin that said it. It was like, all good men, when no good man stands for, like, bad things only happen when good men don't stand or some shit. I don't know. I'm botching that phrasing, but, like, the meaning's there.
But solidarity isn't individualistic, not in this context. Solidarity is a demand, justified by those eternal connections to each other that Marx believed.
Like I was saying before, Marx didn't want you talking to others. Like the easiest way to control a populace is to have them not connect. And then if they can find disconnection, you disassociate the populace, and then you control them by individuals, because they don't like. The difference between liberty and democracy is unity, and unity isn't hive mind thought. Unity is individuals with like-minded agreement. I'm gonna say I had a better word in my head, but I don't think my tongue.
We all have. If you have excess and your fellow man has need, it's not about charity. It's not about individually choosing to help them and acting virtuously in doing so. It's about solidarity. It's that your fellow man's need grants him a right to your excess, out of that Marxian connection, out of a sense of solidarity. And this is how the more mainstream of socialism views charity. This isn't just some Twitter nonsense. People who perform charitable acts
Like, how can you be against charity? This is like being against small business, which I've been seeing a lot of that too, bro. How are you gonna be against small business? Who controls the media? Oh my god, this is what the fucking Bohemian Grove is all about. It's just the people who run the tabloids, and the tabloids realize they could get the people who fund everything else to come together, and they just, like I said, one after another like a domino, just making another a mosaic. Dude, it's so disgusting. It makes my stomach turn. How can you say this is wrong? If you know where you're giving your money and you know it's going to a good place, you should feel good. The only people who get charity own dogs and they're alone. Like, it's not even like a good kind of alone. Like, you can live a life alone. It's okay. Like, they don't tell us that too. Like, you can live a life alone. Totally, dude. Fuck everybody, dude. If you want to be alone, you can be alone. I met motherfuckers that just stay in the woods and they just hit you up for weed. Only because they can't grow in the winter or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, you only see them every couple seasons. Like, I don't know, man. People are weird. Hey, we're strange creatures. But, like, to think it's wrong to give. This is one of the few things you should feel very good about yourself when you do. Don't be a dickhead. Like, there's no reason to be taking photos while you're feeding the homeless. No, dude, just give the dude the meal. You know what you did. If anyone asks you how your day went, be like, I fed a homeless dude. And he's like, smile at you, like, happiness. I don't know. Like, that's about it. Next day, live it again. Do your own thing. I don't know. I try to help out. The dude at the highway and shit, I always give the good food because he has all other buddies and shit they meet up with. So I buy him like Subway and stuff when I have the money. Always give the dude a cigarette. I don't give him money. I will never give those guys money. No offense. That's my version of charity when it comes to people just panhandling. I don't think there's a reason to, like, I don't know, change. They're just gonna buy dope or booze with it. I'm not dumb, bro. I was homeless. I'd never panhandled. When I was homeless, I just stayed in my car. I'm not a fish cook. Like I said, I don't have to work. Like, if I really had to eat, the only thing that really pissed me off the most is having to shit. Cause like, oh my god, bro, you would get in so much trouble if you get caught pooping in the woods nowadays. It's fucking retarded. God forbid you get deuced in the side of the highway, bro. If you're going on a long journey. No, shit your pants.
The stream of socialism views charity. This isn't just some Twitter nonsense.
We're bringing TP for car rides. Now I don't even bother. I look for like liquor stores and shit. Like use the people
with the best of intentions. Perpetualism views charity. This isn't just some Twitter nonsense. People who perform charitable acts might be good, or maybe they're just trying to maintain their own station. But it doesn't matter in the end. Charity, even with the best of intentions, perpetuates capitalism, and so socialists oppose it.
I don't know how charity promotes capitalism. I feel like charity is the one thing that's actually kind of socialist. I get what he's saying, and I know how it actually is factual, but it's like, I hate being one of those people that it feels socialist. I don't know, when you give away the things you own, I think it's the most socialist concept behind charity. That's why people milk it, because it's the one thing capitalist people will give their money to. That's socialist causes. And these Marxist people just sit on their like a BLM. Look at Patrice colors. Is it 16 mansions?
Here's how. On this topic, Marx wrote, "The social principles of Christianity preach the necessity of a ruling and an oppressed."
Hey, it's from the thing I was doing, the philosophy thing. It's just from that book.
Class, and all they have for the latter is the pious wish that the former will be charitable. The social principles of Christianity transfer the counselor's adjustment of all infamies to heaven, and thus justify the further existence of those infamies on earth. The social principles of Christianity declare all vile acts of the oppressors against the oppressed to be the just punishment of original sin. The social principles of Christianity preach cowardice, self-contempt, abasement, submission, dejection. In a word, all the qualities of riffraff, and the proletariat, not wishing to be treated as riffraff, needs its courage.
This is why when I say the proletariat, it's why I like bringing up the proletariat. He doesn't mean the proletariat in the good way. He means it in the way like how Fidel took over fucking Cuba. Oh, was it Cuba or was it Colombia? I can't remember what I'm talking about. I think it's Cuba. This is what sucks about being schizophrenic. You know what I mean? Where Fidel, it's how he used this. He used the proletariat for the revolutionaries.
Its self-reliance, its pride, and its sense of independence more than...
That's why they fear Christianity. That's why they fear God. They fear God. That's why I don't trust a Marxist. Now you tell you talking to a Marxist, always brainwashed by Marxists. They don't like church. Dead ass, and they don't like giving to the church. Like I have friends that don't get iffy with it. I'm like, dude, you go to church. You give the church you go to. You think the church is using the one you're going to, the one you're bowing your head in. You really think it's not using the money right? If you don't feel like that, go to a different church. That's all I can say. Like the Bible even says in it, you don't. The sins of the man you cannot cast on the religion. That's why they fear it. That's why they fucking fear it. It's why our whole country is based upon that ideology. And it's okay to you don't have to practice the religion. It's the beauty of America, because you can take the Catholic idea and go practice your own religions, anything you want, as long as it doesn't infringe on rights of another person. Like Marx fucking hated it. He lived off his buddy the whole time anyway. The fucking broke bitch.
It's bread. The social principles of Christianity are sneakish, and the proletariat is revolutionary. Similarly, Engels also wrote, the English...
It's just a German on things. Look how great they are. Look how good they are in humor.
Bourgeoisie is charitable out of self-interest. It gives nothing outright.
When the bourgeoisie is giving money, they do it for... It's different. Like I said, you can't view it like that. When the most giving people are the poor. Most giving people who we'll have what we have and we'll feel bad and we'll give what we can. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you've been there, you've been there. You just, this is why Marxism is a bunch of what we're seeing today with how they make movies and stuff, and how that signaling what these rich people are doing right now are bourgeoisie. Bougie bitch.
But regards its gifts as a business matter. Makes it charitable out of self-interest. It gives nothing outright, but regards its gifts as a business matter. Makes a bargain with the poor, saying, if I...
what... You know, like people used to rash on people going to church and be like, "Oh, you go to church just so like you can be a bitch all week. It doesn't forgive you for your sins." What do you mean? If I'm not sinning. If I want to, what do you mean? First off, that's projection. I used to look at that shit, and now I think about it back. It's like, nah, you're projecting. It means you know you did is wrong. That's why these people, bro, they. That's why Lord of the Rings is fucked right now and shit like that. Or movies. All media is fucked. Music sucks now. It's because girls control everything. How do you fuck up a culture? There's two ways. Change a 1 to a 0, which they're doing now. And then fucking put the females, give a female a voice. Like in history, women could do all the same shit guys could do. They always complain about the suffrage and shit. No one said they couldn't. It's just we would look down on them depending on what thing is. They were mostly school teachers. That was the main gig they had. Women could all be school teachers. It was usually just the ones who couldn't have kids or couldn't find a man, and which were cool with. Like, oh, dude, people need to look into history. This is what these people would placate on our social skills. This is what happens when you have a lot of money and a lot of time and you sit in your ass all day. Look, you can't grow a beard like that and a mustache during this time. You know how much work that would take? Someone's clipping that shit. I hate rich people. This is classism. It's not, because remember, they use religion, race, and fucking, what's the other one? Nationality. Wow, that was stupid because most of all of this is based around nationality and race. But yeah, you just can't win. Well, you can win. You just tell them shut. No, you beat a Marxist. You beat them. We need to go back to the time. We need to regress. The Marxists are the ones that got the laws put in place. These people are legacies. They put these laws in place. They want us to not fucking talk, speak, do anything. Their goal is to have us butt fucking in the dark, not reproducing, because they think of us as a troglodyte. Because mommy and daddy smoke. This is third generation nepotism. Like, once you get past like 3 generations of rich kids, for some reason they all become pieces of shit. You never have this problem, but if you make your kids work on a farm all the time. I've never met rich kids that work on farms be dickheads. They're usually very humble, because they usually work with the farmhands and shit. Like, not even like, bro. You can. I hate rich people, but not all rich people. You can't hate the rich. It's just you hate the dickheads that fucking try to make rules so their shit can fucking follow through and poison people most of the time. These are the kind of people that pass laws and look at copyright laws. They're like 75 years. Why is it they take it used to be 25 or 35 years, which is reasonable. Like 3 generations.
It gives nothing outright, but regards its gifts as a business.
Thank you, Disney.
Makes a bargain with the poor, saying, if I spend this much upon benevolent institutions, I thereby purchase the right not to be troubled any further, and you are bound thereby to stay in your dusky holes, and not to irritate my tender nerves by exposing your misery. You shall despair as before, but you shall despair.
Bro, the amount of self-loathing I said to these people, they literally, like I said, their problem is our problem because they can't control themselves. Like, Dad didn't hug them enough. So these motherfuckers, they get our issue. Like, God forbid, like, hey, these are the motherfuckers that, like, dream of killing things. Just think about that. They just dream of, like, you have, nothing for the people. So much for the proletariat, right? Marxist thinking.
Unseen. This I require. This I purchase with my subscription of £20 for the infamy. It is infamous, this charity of Christian bourgeois. It's not just old socialists either.
Christian bourgeois. Why is it always Christian? Because the Jewish one was there too. Whatever the higher one is, it's the problem at hand. Fuck you. Dumb fucking Marxists.
Benjamin Shepard, professor at the University of New York, wrote the paper Community Practice as Social Activism, From Direct Action to Direct Services, where he defines the phrase mutual aid as people giving what they can and getting what they need, which is quite similar to Marx's from each according to his ability to eat.
Misnomer. It should say need what you want and want giving what you need. It sounds stupid like that, but like that's the point. That doesn't make sense. It's circle jerking. You can't. Have you heard of a Ponzi? Anyone? Like, you can't feed something like that. It can't. Nothing like this can ever last. You can't. The giving tree can't keep giving as long if you keep feeding it. Like, no, it doesn't happen like that. Because like, either you overfeed it or you underfeed it. And underfeeding it starves people. Overfeeding it makes dictators. Like, what the fuck?
Each according to his needs. Dean Spade, a socialist trans-revolution.
It should be it. The communist tree. The communist socialism tree. It's just, how much can you feed me before I either wilt or dry up? Like, either one will happen before than after. Because sometimes you'll see one that like dries up and then just like flourishes, and then it literally dies. Because as soon as they get all their money back, they just go like, I'm gonna fight someone and drop nukes. Like dumbasses. Like, this is why you don't give a line in the skin. This is why America was so good before. You put line in the skin, cross that line, bitch. Now it's people go in line and they just go boop, 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 like a cartoon character, like a Mr. Bean's cartoon. This is fucked up.
Meaning he's both personally trans and his revolutionary and
I say cartoon
Seattle
skit.
University wrote a 12-page paper on the topic too. Solidarity, not charity. Mutual aid for mobilization and survival. And I'll not quote any line in that paper to get my point across. Mutual aid is a
Yeah, wait. What book is that?
and survival. And
What's it called? It's gonna be about lesbians.
a 12-page paper on the topic too. Solidarity, not charity. Mutual aid for mobilization and survival. And honestly, I could
It's just a
quote
copy.
any line in that paper to get
It's
my
probably legit. She read Mark's book and the Communist Manifesto, and I don't know. What's the other one I was reading the other day? Probably like Archipelago, fucking Gulag Archipelago. Nah, dude. It's just, you probably won't be able to see this when I post it because my shit post is always like way low grade.
point across.
Bro, it's just rambling, bro. It's word salad. Bro, the failures of the current system. Yeah, this is like, it sounds like Marxist, so it's a manifest. Bro, check this bitch's fucking inbox. She probably got kids probably strapped, getting pipe bombs together or some shit. It's fucked up. That's wild. This is like, I just need to have like a speaking spell and just talking to the phone. Just ramble off like my word salads. This is nuts, dude. This makes Ted Kaczynski sound normal. At least Ted Kaczynski shit seems based.
What socialists want to replace,
Fuck, bro. I hate people.
Kropotkin defined mutual aid as the idea that cooperation within a species is more important to its evolution than competition, and that those instinctive feelings of solidarity,
Someone Jacques Rousseau,
we would call nowadays as in-group preference, is the basis for mutual aid. Kropotkin's view was that an alternative economic system would have to be anti-capitalist and anti-hierarchy, and would have to distribute goods through a decentralized network of voluntary associations, and it also must fulfill the needs of everybody involved. It's not hard to see how all this is bullshit, right? Like, yeah, that one paper from Spade points out various mutual aid efforts, like the Black Panthers, and how they actually manage to collectively come together and help each other materially when necessary. And there's dozens of other examples like that. It's not like these structures can't work. They absolutely can. Do you help your family and friends when they're in a rough spot? Sure, of course. Same with church groups and clubs, campus organizations and unions and whatever else.
Yeah.
People are absolutely willing to help others they know, but that's just charity with a different word. When
Yeah.
it becomes solidarity instead of charity, when it becomes mutual aid, that's when you're helping people you don't know as if you know them. Not that you help them a little bit, like you're giving to the poor, but that you help them a lot because you know them. You help them as if they are close to you when they are not. And for most people, that's a hard sell. This is why Marxist ideas in practice always involve force, because give what you can and get what you need sounds nice on paper until you realize that it has no defense against the free rider problem. The idea that some people will simply take and not give back under the pretense of needing much and not being able to give anything at all. At that point, either the system collapses or the people in power begin.
I said that the tree, either it soaks up all it can, like what it usually does, and then dries out, or it dries up and then magically comes back. I can't off the top of my head think of the ones I'm thinking of, but there's been those, and then all of a sudden, because the moment they want to go to war,
begin to use oppressive
communism,
to ensure that the voluntary giving continues.
socialism.
I'm not against the idea of mutual aid.
Awful.
If you've got some collective organization that you give your time to and help the poor with, more power to you. I've done it a few times myself. But when people are explicitly rejecting charity in favor of mutual aid, despite the obvious practical...
Like I said, it goes back to what I said way in the beginning. They don't want you donating. They want you to give it to the state. Because, okay, let's say $10. We give the $10 to them. $10 magically becomes $3 because of resources, and then that $3 gets actually stuffed out, and then it turns into $1, and then all that money that just got donated is $1 of what all that 10, and that's what's paying for everything. Because resources, it's like a laundering scheme. That's why you don't want this. Like, socialism doesn't work. I feel bad for Canadian healthcare. Like, does the state, you look in history, and does the state ever do anything right? Never. Never. Ever. Nothing. Dude, they offer cell phones now. That's weird.
overlap between the two. They're sending a message that giving what is yours out of the kindness of your heart is not enough, because what is yours, you stole, and the poor have a right to it. In giving, you are not being a good person. You are rectifying a wrong you committed. It's not good, it's the baseline. I know at least a few people from DGG also watch my content. Post in the comments if you do. You guys remember this debate, right? Leftist jumps in to debate and gatekeep Destiny from IRL activism. This was in the context of Destiny.
I get a fucking retard, dude. I watched a couple of... Bro, just wasted brain cells. He's just a cuck, that kid. He's just a complete cuck. Oh, bro. He has no balls. He just says whatever. He's an NPC. He's just a weird waiting NPC.
Using his platform to assist in canvassing efforts for the mayoral race in his hometown of Omaha, despite having moved away to LA. And an anarcho-communist who is still back in Omaha, who's extremely angry about his involvement for a bunch of different reasons. But listen to some of the rhetoric that this guy uses.
You don't think that any of the churches, you don't think that any of the church communities around Omaha are involved in helping in any of the local soup kitchens or involved in helping...
It's fucking transactional. It's transactional.
So
They give
wow.
you
So it
help.
really. Do you think that when a person, I'm super curious in your opinion. Do you think that when a person is getting a meal to eat that they otherwise wouldn't in a city like Omaha, do you think they care if the organization giving it to them is doing it for some transaction with God or something?
No, we're not talking about the person receiving aid. We're talking about the people.
Because they don't get faith. They don't get faith. Like, this is what happened. A godless man. That's not what it is. It's not even. It doesn't even have to be God. You just get spiritual. Like people, at least if you have a God, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm out. You have respect for other people's. Sometimes it's not good respect. Some people want to cut your heads off over it, but like you have respect for other people's religions.
People that are giving you.
Who cares about the people that are giving the aid as long as they're doing it? When I was volunteering for high school, I don't remember anybody turning down a meal that we served or turning down a sandwich that we handed out because it was compulsory.
I'm saying that
It's the act of. Do these people not get? This is why I think they're autistic. Like there's something wrong with them. Like there's something wrong with people. They're drinking the water, 5G, something stupid. Like, do you guys not have emotion? Do you not feel good when you do good things? Dude, it means this kid's so disconnected. It means he's never done it. Like, go help. Not even like, just go like, give someone something for free. Don't film it either. Don't do it for clickbait. Just do it to do it. That's fucked up, bro. These people don't get it. It's literally straight disconnect. It's not human. Lizard people, bro.
your charity that you were doing was charity. It was given from the top down. Did the community request that your church come out and give them food, or did they just request food?
Well, these guys have enough money. They don't have to donate money. What they could do is, if they really want to raise, and they don't want to spend it out of their pocket and do it like that, and raise the money and have their own fans do it. And I even support that they have enough money. Look at that apartment. I'm in this room. This is my room. That's all I get. I pay for this. Just the room. Like, bro. I'd go outside my house. I cook. I don't know, man. It takes $100 for like a street vendor license in Mass, and then you just go cook anywhere you want. You just throw up a fucking like flat grill. You have enough money to buy the flat grill. You can use your fans' money, like I said, I guess, which I don't support. Hey, he gotta use his own money, and just like feed homeless people. Just say put free meals. And like I said, just be like, show me a food stamp card and I'll give you a free food. At least I know you're on the poverty line. Man, it's not disrespectful. I guarantee you, anyone food stamp card be getting free food, especially if you're good cooking. Be like, it doesn't matter what you're making. Just be like, I'm only making quesadillas today. Like, just make mad for heated chicken on a flat grill. Have tons of buckets of it already sauteed. Like. And it'd be like under the price, like less than $1,000. And you can all write it off on taxes. He takes your money, says he donates it, writes it off for himself as, when you guys can't write it off, or I hope you guys do. Like, I don't fucking believe in this shit. Why do you give people free money? Just watching them should, I don't know, man. Stupid ads play.
So then why
I
do you
hate
have to
people.
make
I hate the internet. No, it's so stupid.
I guess like the way that I look at it at the end
It
of the day,
sucks.
yeah, we might just have different values. At the end of the day, for me, the more people that are getting fed, the better.
How much money have you spent on your
I agree with
efforts
that.
to mobilize voters or whatever it is you call? Whatever you
When
want.
the
What a
other
psychopath,
candidates
this
running
kid.
race want to publish all their figures, I mean, I'll publish mine, but I don't see why I need to answer that question.
asking about what you have spent.
Why does money have to matter about it? Like he said, as long as the mouths are fed. I want to see how many how many people have you fed? Why is he asking that? That's that should be the basis. No, where did the money go? How much money did you put down? That's such a privilege. We're doomed.
I don't know why I need to answer that question.
Nepotism, bro. That kid's never gonna leave his mom's basement like that.
Could have provided.
Oh, that, dude, that's
Do
fucked
you
up.
really think it's like one-to-one like that? Do you think that no money can be spent on political advocacy if there's like a hungry person?
I hope no one's
You
giving
don't
him
think that
money.
there might be more money that could be spent
That's
getting
probably
somebody in
what he's living
office
on.
that might be able to address these problems rather than just buying a meal for somebody?
I think we're better off not fucking waiting for you fucking libs to tie your fucking shoes and get on the streets and do the fucking work.
If this is a video.
I don't really like Destiny. I was. What a psychopath. I call people libtards. Nah, dude, it's not. That's not. What are you talking about? Wait, what? That guy's gotta be insane. That mental. Oh, my brain can't function with that. It was so
Do
dumb.
you really think it's like one-to-one like that? Do you think that no money can be spent on political advocacy if there's like a hungry person? Or you don't think that there might be more money that could be spent getting somebody in office that might be able to address these problems rather than just buying a meal for somebody?
I think we're better off not fucking waiting for you fucking libs to tie your fucking shoes and get on the streets and do the fucking work.
It doesn't make sense what you just did. Wasn't it? I don't know. Maybe I misheard all that. I'm not going through all that again. That was a lot of gobbledygook. That guy's a sociopath. If he's just trying to, like, flip that. What is his logic? I rather, like I said, just go buy a fucking meat. Go to soup kitchen. Soup kitchens. Like, soup kitchens are, like, the best thing. They're not bad. They're not shitty. They feed people. They feed a lot of people. Fucked up. Like, I hate people. That made me angry. I hate people.
If this is a video you remember, I recommend you go back and watch it again. With some of this knowledge about how socialists view charity, it'll open your eyes. The reason this guy sounded so nonsensical is because he genuinely believes that charity perpetuates capitalism, that electoralism and liberal institutions have
I don't believe. I said the most socialist thing a capitalist person would do is give to the poor. That's why they milk it. Yes. That's why I don't believe in donating to charity. I believe in just giving out to your community. This is the church is the best idea because they literally like throw venues for like people to come. It's free to feed everybody for free and shit like that. Like, oh, dude, like fuck everybody.
entirely failed. And the only way to help people is through decentralized.
You used to have so much nice stuff, but no one goes to church anymore.
To replace the state with anarcho-communism. Broadly speaking, there are two leftist views of mutual aid. The first view is what's held by that Omaha brainlet, where out of a sense of solidarity, they reject both charity and the social safety nets of a liberal society, believing that their way is the only way to truly liberate people, since charity presupposes the correctness of capitalism, while safety nets rely on electoralism, which will always be a failed system for socialists. The second view of mutual aid is that the state itself should be its mechanism. This view conflates the social safety net with mutual aid, making them one and the same. It's from this point that liberate people into the social safety nets of a liberal society, believing that their way is the only way to truly liberate people, since charity presupposes the correctness of capitalism, while safety nets rely on electoralism, which will always be a failed system for socialists. The second view of mutual aid is that
he's saying this. Why can't people just say things like how I say it? I don't know. I remember that stupid reference. It's literally a tree. It's a tree that needs you feed it. You don't have to pay taxes. Like, people can pay for themselves, and the community can help. We used to just be able like that. That's what the church was for, or the temple. Like, we used to have communities where you just have like, if there was people that couldn't help, and there used to be a person that went around and helped you get jobs. So everybody had a job. So no one didn't have no jobs. There's a reason why you never heard of people not having work. Because the dude helped you give you a job. And we didn't have diploma bullshit. Because you didn't need that. You didn't have to go to college. You used to have our apprenticeship. And you get an apprenticeship, anything. What do you mean you wouldn't have candy strippers? The nurses we had before the nurses now. Like, you don't need to learn all that shit like the way they have to do it. You can learn it all on field. Hands on. I don't get it. Like, we're regressing, not progressing because of regulations.
the state itself should be its mechanism. This view conflates the social safety net with mutual aid, making them one and the same. It's from this point of view that we get the idea that you have a moral obligation to pay your taxes, because that's ultimately the same moral obligation that drives you to perform charitable acts. This view is at least a little more justifiable than the first one, because it is true that poor people benefit from those programs, while the only thing that socialist bumblefucks agree with.
Programs never benefit the poor. They don't. They incentivize them to stay poor. Like, like the moment and they make the money bracket, maybe make the fucking like the threshold bigger. So they get a job, and they lose their benefits because you can't lose a one-time payment a month that you've been relying on for a month for a job that could just easily be cupped out of that because of what everybody's having mental breakdowns all the time. I wonder why, or fucking the job sucks and you need to find another job. Like, and then you're gonna tell you like unemployment. It's monotony. It's bullshit. We had it right before, about in the 60s. If we had when we started the social system, which even then they all farted, and I don't believe in it. Still, then I agree with them. I live on it. I'm on. Like, it's sad. I don't like it. I wanted to get off it, but like I needed to have a good enough paying job, and nothing's paying good anymore because they ruined the fucking system. I know I do so much shit. Or you can just do apprenticeships, or now they want more money for school, and school costs so much money. Like, bro, and they're like, oh, there's ways you can get school. No, just makes you want to like bash your head into a wall.
Built using the first system is stuff that is
all because socialized bullshit.
This second view of mutual aid
I wish we had America
Clement
was
Attlee,
before.
architect of the modern British welfare state, who famously said, "Charity is a cold,
Before I
grey,
even thought of-
loveless thing. If a rich man wants to help the poor, he should pay his taxes gladly, not dole out money at a whim." The problem with this point of view, though, is that in his taxes.
I agree with that a little bit. It's why you don't give money. Charity with money is pointless.
Gladly, not dole out money
How
at a
that?
whim. The problem with this point of view, though, is that it implies the government is responsible for feeding, clothing, and housing you. And it's not. You are. Imagine thinking that charity, given from one person to another, from the kindness of their heart, is cold, grey, and
Charity
loveless,
of the community
especially
is not
compared to
productive
a
either.
vast, impersonal bureaucracy run by government employees who only need to do the barest of the minimum to keep their job. This doesn't mean that I'm against the idea of the welfare state, but I do see it for what it is. It's not some grand moral project to which we should swear our undying allegiance to. It's a practical solution to a real-world problem. We should not love our governments the way we love our families, even when governments do good work. And knowing that is what makes the UK's sacrifice for the good of the NHS rhetoric so eerie looking at it from the outside. The NHS isn't your mother.
It just makes me feel like V for Vendetta. Yeah. Oh, hell, the state. Stop that. No, bro. They wrote a whole movie making fun of that. Don't do that. Don't hail the state. You're retarded. You're retarded. You're retarded. That's why everybody should learn how to kill animals and like understand the differential from. Dude, nah, food's food. There's apocalypse levels, but like food's food on one level, and then like, oh no, the world ended. Everything's food.
It's a bureaucracy. It might be a good system, even a necessary one, but it's not a person.
Dude, I hate bureaucracy. We were so much better off. Like I said, we had states. The states, when we were small, but they flooded all the states with immigrants. And I was like a dick. No, if you're here legally, fine. Illegally is like everybody gets so mad. It's not a big deal, dude. If you don't belong here, get the fuck out, dude. Show you the door. You got 2 of them. Well, actually, technically 4. You want to throw them in the ocean. Get the fuck out.
Plus, imagine the moral implications of Attlee's statement.
Do that a couple
Engels
times
says
and no
it's
one
simply
fucking
used
come
charity
back.
as a way to make themselves feel better about the state of the poor. They paid a few bucks and now they expect the poor to shut up. That's a fair criticism. But Attlee's statement creates an inverse situation. If taxation is the only avenue through which the rich can fulfill his duty to help the poor, and if rich man has paid up all of his taxes and he sees a beggar on the street, he is now under no moral obligation to give him anything. He's already done his part, and charity is cold and impersonal besides. What further good?
If you put it in the taxes, you just made a rich man not want to give you. Like I said, you ruin incentivization. You help your community. Taxes are only there implicated by socialists, so they don't want you to give. We used to give back and just worry about ours. So the internet, even the internet sounded so cool before. We were giving back before. We were doing so good in the early 2000s. What the fuck happened?
Good is there in helping. It's a nonsense position. In fact, it seems to be the case.
We got
that charity
hijacked
is
by the
superior,
record labels.
at least morally, specifically because it is done
It's a little
voluntarily.
messaging
It's
and
not done
bullshit
because the
including.
person who is guilty is guilty, like with solidarity. It's not done as a part of building the post-capitalist utopia, like with mutual aid. And it's not done out of the threat of state retaliation, like with taxation. It could be done as a way to bolster the person's standing, sure, but there's still a moral component deep underneath that. Valuing being a person who does real charitable acts is not too far off from valuing doing real charitable acts, at least on some level. You could say no to donating, but the fact that you chose not.
If you pay and do some kind of charity and think you're doing good, you're a piece of shit. You're just doing it for the tax write-off. We all know it. It's the only reason most people donate nowadays like that. Donating clothes that you gave up or old food that you don't eat is not charity. Give something, I don't know, buy a fucking blanket for a homeless person. I don't fucking know. That would be more charitable. Like, you're pieces of shit. Oh my god, I hate people. I hate people. All that money gets laundered. It's all laundering schemes. Easiest way to make money is convince people to donate to our charity. All you gotta do legally. I think it's 10%. I think it's 10% of your funds or 5%, which is disgusting. Either all of them are disgusting. You should be out there at least. You should be at least, even for resources to make people to do things on the street. No, really, it should be at least 50%. If you can't negotiate your funds, fuck you. Plus, you get subsidized. The tax write-offs company, like, dude, it's all fucking mess.
Not to. That is where the extra moral content of charity exists that isn't present in these other methods of helping the poor. The virtue is in letting go of what is valuable so that others might be helped, not holding on to it for your own selfish reasons, nor having it demanded from you by somebody who is self-righteous. I've said many times in this channel that socialism is just institutionalized theft. If you live in a society where it's normal to point at whoever has more than you and call them a capitalist oppressor, a counter-revolutionary,
Just walk down the street. Now you go to people with bigger house, the house. You go there, knock on the door. Fuck you. I want this. Socialism. So stupid. It's so stupid. It's such a dumb idea. It's communism with more steps.
a bourgeois, a kulak, and then use those labels as moral justification to steal from them.
It's how you get
People who live
revolutionaries.
in that society will train each other to belittle and hate and use their own
Socialism leads to
Eventually, society
fascism,
becomes a constant
or
struggle
you
of
use
self-interest,
socialism
where
to get
everybody
the
owns everything
communism to get to
collectively. So why not just
fucking
take everything you
dictatorship.
see? You already own it, but charity begets compassion. To see a person suffering, to watch as their suffering is alleviated by a simple random act of kindness. It's hard to hate a person you have compassion for. It's hard to take from others when you know how they feel, but it's easy to hate them and take from them if you feel like you've been victimized by them. Charity's got its problems. Engels' critique was at least kind of correct, but like with all other
No. None of it. None of it is correct. All of it's off. They're using people's these people just love to just pyramid everything, make a pyramid out of it, and try to make a hierarchy. It's all a power control thing. It's disgusting. It's not fair. Why can't we all just be on an equal line? I don't like that. So this is what worst case scenario happens. I've seen this earlier. I'll lead it into this. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. I don't even really to the top, but this is what happens when you have socialism.
Armed robbery. Set my comments on this. I can't even begin to tell you how dangerous this act is. First, it was passed in the middle of the night, with 40 minutes to read an 800-page bill, which is on.
800 pages in 45 minutes. I don't read fast.
Acceptable. As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska.
This is what socialism gets you guys. I would love to know who even okayed all this. Like, all hands up, yes. I would love to see their bank accounts and see who funded that, because George Soros sounds all over that.
Before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional
This is all.
rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone
Shack
can
people.
decide to live in your
Shack
shed,
people.
and all we can do is give them a ticket.
This is what you get for socialism.
Level of force is required to remove them, and whether or not it's legal.
Just have a great yet.
This is a massive threat
Coming to a new Democratic state near you.
to the residents of Orland Park, Cook County, and Illinois. I want to remind voters that several elected officials that will be on the ballot in Orland Park voted for this abomination. Senator Michael Hastings, Senator Emil Jones, and Representative Justin Slaughter all voted to put criminals ahead of the safety of law-abiding citizens and police. In particular, Senator Hastings, who personally told me that this bill, that he had a family, and that this bill was horrible, and there was no way he would vote for it. An outright lie that, in my opinion, disqualifies him to hold his office.
How the fuck did this bill? Who promoted this bill? Who got enough people's signatures to promote this bill? Are they real citizens? I have so many questions. Like, I am a bill on Capitol Hill. Like, you remember how you get a bill, bro? Just get that bitch on the hill. Like, fuck. Who the fuck gave enough hands up for this? This is awful. Shack people. Welcome, new weird variant hermits.
I will gladly cast my vote for the
Bro,
this
I feel.
resolution
I wish.
appeal.
The worst thing he could have done is actually say this. It's, it's good he's saying it, but like, bro, I just like, dude, all the shack people that are gonna pop up because they heard about it. Dude, squatter rights, bro, is my shed. Stay out the shed.
Of the Orwellian named Safety Act. But it doesn't end here. There is currently a bill in front of the House to remove school resource officers from our schools.
Just shoot him and bury him. Who's gonna care what the big? That was a bad idea. I'm joking.
I personally don't want to see the city of Chicago
Yo, my
set the
property.
standard for how we
Dude, no trespassing.
safety, because they've abandoned their police officers and abandoned their residents, and
I said this to them, but bro, you can't just incentivize the police. You're like, you need them. Like, not trying to be a narc. You need them. You need them for some things. You need them. You need the police. Like, do you, oh, bro, what the fuck? Who promoted this? Oh, bro, this is so bad. This is way worse than I thought. I didn't watch the whole entire thing. I watched like clips of this before. Now I found the whole video.
create a war zone full of criminals. There's also a bill to make fentanyl a misdemeanor.
That was overlooked and everything. Okay. Let's just go to wherever it was, Illinois, I think it is. Just go fucking post up and just cook. Put a lab up.
In this
This is China. This is Chinese funded bullshit.
state. And I want to remind you that we have representatives that currently
Oh my god, this is gonna ruin our population. This is the opium tea trade all over again.
in the federal government that voted to not extend the fentanyl ban federally. Fortunately, it passed, but there are people that actually believe that we should have a ban on fentanyl that currently.
Fentanyl should only be given to hospitals. That's it. Why is it even able to ship? Like, bro, they got rid of the pill fucking market for like, oh, dude, I can't. This is like shit. Like, I was joking about this earlier. The biggest drug dealer in the game are the pharmaceutical companies, dude. Like, for real. It's like kind of evil. They are. They control everything. They have in Silicon Valley, and who owns most of their shares and shit? Who keeps trying to do medical wage shit, tyranny on us? Like, fuck.
They represent our community. That's just absolutely unacceptable. It's like they won't stop until they destroy our communities and our society. We all need to take a stand against this. This is
How's Seattle doing? I'm gonna end this video. That was depressing.